There are 4 tasks, as we mentioned, in the PPAT. Task 1 is all about the knowledge of students and the learning environment. Unfortunately, for you, task 1 is worth 0 points. Okay, you need 38 points to pass. 38 points to pass the PPAT. Task 1 is worth 0 points. So we're going to do some work today to help you knock this out. But there is value in task 1, but I also don't want you to spend a ridiculous amount of time on it because technically it's not worth any points. So by completing task 1, if you do everything that's required of you and you submit it, it will then unlock the ability for you to do task 2 and 3. You cannot start submitting task 2 and 3 until you have done task 1. Okay? I will explain that more in detail. But the goal of task 1 is that you understand that you're not alone. There are lots of resources within your school, within your district, and within your community to help you and to help students. And that it's important for you to get to know your students and get to know your families because each group of students, each community, each school district is different. And so you need to know the differences in what your school and community has to offer. Like, for example, on here we have some people from Dixon and Moyer, which is different than the resources that you might have in Blanchard or Elk City. And so all of you will have different answers on this. All right, and then I will work through and help you find some of these answers and show you where to find the things on task 1. It will all be, each one of yours will be completely unique because you teach at a different school. Task 2 is all about creating an assessment and analyzing the data. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky for some of you because some of you do this differently, or when you do this, it might be more qualitative. But this time you're going to have to give the exam, you're going to have to analyze the data, look through it, talk about what you learned throughout the process. So really, we're talking like a pre-assessment and a post-assessment and analyzing the data. That's what it is. Okay. It is worth 12 points. Task 2 is worth 12 points, and it's due on March 5th. So this is all about an assessment. Task 3 is about creating and teaching a lesson. So creating a lesson plan and teaching that lesson and then analyzing how it went. So all of you create lesson plans. It does say that you don't have to create the lesson plan. You can select a lesson plan. Some people have districts that select a lesson or that create lesson plans for them. And so if that's what you use, that's totally fine. You just explain what you're doing in that lesson and why you're doing it and what your goal is. Okay. And then task 4, task 3 is worth 16 points. Task 2 and 3 are due on the same day, which is March 5th. All right. Forgot to mention this earlier. It's important to note that the due dates are all at 1 p.m. So that's not something that you would think about. I would think it would be due at like 5 or midnight, but for them, it's 1 p.m. on that due date. So I wouldn't wait till that due date. I would submit it before if you can. Task 4 is implementing and analyzing instruction. So essentially what this one is videoing yourself teaching a lesson, watching the video, and writing about what you learned from watching your video. Okay. So you do have to record yourself teaching a video. You do have to upload that video, but they are not going to watch your video and score how well you did. They're going to read what your analysis was and score you on your analysis of the video. Okay. This is worth double. This is worth 32 points. So remember, you only need 38 points total. And task 4 is worth 32 by itself. So if you do great on task 4, you're going to do great on the PPAT. Okay. So let me break this down to you to help you think about this in a simple way. So task 2 is creating an assessment. Task 3 is a lesson plan. Task 4 is a video of yourself teaching a lesson. So if you video yourself teaching task 3, and the assessment that you use is about this lesson that you're giving, essentially for the PPAT, all you need to do is have a very detailed lesson plan that includes a pre and post assessment and you videoing yourself teaching that lesson. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. While the PPAT is long and there's like 90 things you need to do, All it really is you creating a lesson plan that includes a pre and post assessment and you videoing yourself teaching that lesson. So it's just one very detailed lesson. That's all the PPAT is. It is very, very detailed though. It requires you to write a lot. You have to tell them what you're going to do, then you have to do it, and then you have to tell them how it went, and you have to tell them what you're going to do differently next time, what you learned from it, and all of that stuff. So that's why it becomes a little redundant. The other thing to note is that tasks 2, 3, and 4 are all scored by different people. So when you submit task 2, somebody that is in your field, so if you're a special education teacher, somebody that's special education certified is going to score your task 2. And that's it. They don't get to see what you did for task 3 or task 4. They only get to see what you did for task 2. Okay? And they're going to score you based on that alone. The same is true for task 3. They're going to score you just on your lesson. They don't know what you did for your assessment or what you wrote in task 2. So they're just scoring this by itself. And even on this one, task 4, that somebody else is going to score it. Okay? So what's unique about this, you might be thinking to yourself, I think I already did this. Like I just answered this. Why do I have to do this again? And that's the reason why, because it's scored by 3 different people. So whatever you did in task 4 or whatever you did in task 3, they don't know. So they can only see what you did for task 4. So some people would say like, well, I feel like I'm plagiarizing because I'm resubmitting the same work. And that's okay. You can totally do it. It's your work. You're submitting it. You submitted it for task 2. That's totally fine. It's going to ask you to do the same thing again in task 4. So just keep those things in mind. So, all right, a couple things to note, then I'll pause for some questions. So once again, task 1 is due February 12th at 1 o'clock. Task 2 and 3 are due March 5th, and task 4 is due on April 4th. You will not get any feedback on task 1. If you are able to open up task 2, that means that you've met the requirements and you passed. You will get feedback from task 2 and 3 before you have to submit task 4. So you will know what your current score is. Now, you won't know if you passed or failed or anything. They're just going to tell you you got 8 out of 12 points for 2 and 10 out of 16 points for 3. And so you just need to know, okay, so that's 8 plus 10, so that's 18. So 18 divided or minus 38, that's what I have to get on task 4 in order to pass. Okay, so that's how that works out. So you'll know what your score is before you submit task 4. Okay, or what your score is on task 2 and 3. All right, let me show you a few things that will help you be successful on the PPAT. So on the PPAT website, which is ets.org/PPAT, PPAT, you're going to go there and then you'll click I am a test taker, learn more. There are plenty of resources here on the PPAT website. There are tons of them. So many that it's confusing and it's hard to get around. It's not the best website ever. So you kind of have to know where to look. And sometimes when you click on things, it's not in the same spot. So let me tell you a few different things that most people find to be helpful. If you click on Build and Submit Tasks, and you scroll down, down here at the bottom, it says Task Requirements and Rubrics. So I'm going to click Learn More. Once this pulls up, you can go down and there are 4 tasks and you just click on whatever task that you're looking for. And so we'll just do task 1 and you click on the task 1 requirements. A PDF pops up and this is basically the test. So this is what it looks like. Now, in order to have the PPAT, you have to go into their website, create an account. Remember, it's like a take-home test. So it's going to tell you these are the things that you need to do. Well, these are the questions. So you can look at all of these before you even go in there. These are all of the questions that are on there for the PPAT. So where it says task requirements, those are your questions. Okay, it breaks it down at the beginning. These are the artifacts you need, the things that you need to upload, and then it has all of the questions for each task. Okay, that's what the task requirements are. Also, if you, starting with task 2, there is a rubric that you can click on. Is there a rubric for task one? There is a rubric for task one as well. Um, I'm not going to show it to you because most people don't find it to be helpful. So it is something that you can look at if you're a rubric type person, but most people don't find it to be very helpful. Something that they do find to be helpful is this deep dive video. So if you click on this video, I'm not going to play it for you. This particular one is 18 minutes long. And if you go through here, it gives you a breakdown of all of the task requirements. It explains a lot to you. It's not very exciting, but it is very informative. So the deep dive videos are pretty helpful to you, and it'll break some things down for you. Okay? Then if you go, again, it's hard to find. If you go to build and submit tasks, and then I go down to the bottom where it says library of examples. So the library of examples, if you click on this, it will show you, let's click on task three. It will give you an example of a completed PPAT for all of these subject areas, and it will show you this is what people have written. Okay? Then it will tell you this is somebody that passed the PPAT and this is what it looked like. And this is somebody that did not pass the PPAT or they didn't score very well on this task and this is what that looked like. And to summarize it, most people find this helpful. You can go through here and look and see. Most people notice very quickly that the people that write very little are the ones that get scored that get the lowest scores. The ones that have a lot of writing in there, you'll be able to tell like, oh man, I have to write that much. And I don't know if you have to write that much, but this is the example that they're giving you. So I would copy that. When I say copy that, I mean, model after that. It does not give you any examples of artifacts on there, but it does give you some examples of the writing, okay, on your writing prompts. All right, so the library examples are very helpful. The deep dive is very helpful. The task requirements are the test, so those are going to be good. Then there's lots of other things that are on here that you could use to be help you be successful. So there's a submission user guide. So if you're unsure about how to submit, specifically submitting your video, a lot of people get tripped up on that. You can go in here, it's like on page 33, and it'll tell you how to submit your video and what that looks like. There's one for task one, lots of questions on here. If you're reading some of these words and it's like educationese and you don't know what it means, there's a glossary there for that. It gives you an optional lesson plan format. I would not use it, but it is there for you. I would use your own. And there's some other things that are listed on here that are helpful to you. Okay. Lots of good information on the PPAT website. You can find everything that you need to help you on this website, but it does require some digging. So task requirements, deep dive video, and your library of examples are going to be your best things that will help you. Oh, one more thing that I forgot to share with you. For task one, it's going to ask you some things about the community and your school and some demographics. So you have this website right here, which is schoolreportcards.org/report-card. You can see that up there. And then you go and you can look up your school. Now, your district might have this information for you. There are other places that you can find this, but this one is the most concise, all in one spot where you don't have to click around a bunch. And so I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to click that I'm a teacher in Oklahoma, and I'm interested in this year, and I'm going to select by school district because you might not know what county you're in. Not everybody does. So when I go down through here, I'm just gonna go and pick one. And I grew up in Wagner, Oklahoma, so I'm gonna pick Wagner. So I'm clicking on that school, then you can pick the school that you're looking at. I'm gonna pick the middle school. Then it gives you a breakdown. So this is gonna be helpful to you. This is the student demographic breakdown. You're gonna need this for task one, for the school, and then the district, and then you can compare it with the state. All right. What I don't think that you necessarily need to in task one include every single thing that's on here, but I think it's helpful for you to highlight the things that separate you from the state. So you're going to describe this And then if there's something that's different from the state, you might include that as well. This is going to give you more information about your community, which it does ask for. Some of it you might find to be helpful and interesting. Then the other thing that you would need for your district, this is broken down by school or in district, but the number of students that are on free and reduced lunch, the number of students that are gifted and talented, English language learners, and special education. Those are some things that you're going to want to put on your task one when you get to the contextual factors chart. So that is a brief overview of the PPAT. I hope you found this information to be helpful, and hopefully it calms your nerves and it gives you some confidence as you go in and you complete the PPAT, since this is the last time that is being offered. There is an opportunity for you to, if you don't pass, that you can do some resubmission. You still will have the opportunity to do that in May and into the summer. But this is the last chance, and there's currently not another way for you to be certified. This is what the option is. If you found this to be helpful, there's lots of information for you already, and this may be all that you needed, just a little boost to get you started, and that's great. If you want more information, and if you want to go through this in detail, you can sign up for one of the PPAT seminars that we have, and so I'll put a link to that in the description. And if you want to just watch a recording of that, you can sign up to just watch a recording, and we can send you a recording of that. To come to one on Zoom, it's $49. To come in person for a full day, it's $99. Or I can just send you the Zoom recording, and that would be 20 bucks. And so you could just watch that and repeat on your own. All right. Best of luck to you. You're going to do great. I believe in you. You have everything that you need. And if you need help along the way, please feel free to reach out and ask for help for one of the options that we mentioned. All right. Good luck.